About 4 years ago, I saw a film called Practical Magic, and it utterly captivated me. And now, every October, I will watch it without fail. Not simply a film about old houses, the coolest aunts in the gnome world, and love spells, this was a film about sisterhood, about womanhood, and about the peace and safety of home. Sally returns to the house with her children after she is bereaved, and Jilly comes home following an abusive relationship. The old house is their sanctuary, with equal parts kooky and spooky. But not spooky in a bad way, but in the enamouring way that the best old houses are. A house with history and heritage that gives you a sense of belonging and roots you. One that is connected to nature and allows you to grow and blossom within its safe walls. But also one that is rather unique and doesn't really fit into the modern world, and sometimes appears to have a mind of its own. That's certainly how my house feels sometimes. And so, in the spirit of Halloween, I'm donning my best 90s practical magic outfit and decorating the house even spookier than usual. So please join me for a relaxing day as I show you how we get our house ready every which way. But before we begin, I'm going to start by feeding my sweet cat Betty and then making a much needed coffee. That isn't Betty meowing, by the way. That's the sound of my vintage cat treat container that my neighbour gifted to me. Now, in this house, we like to do everything with a little bit more feeling, even something as simple as making a coffee. And so I'm going to use my vintage percolator, which I found at a charity shop, and of course, my original 1940s cooker. I've also made some candy apples because, well, 'tis the season. And then I start laying out some of my more spooky themed decorations. And what I love about autumn is that it feels very subdued, very warming, very comforting. And so I'm going to start by turning on all the lamps in my living room to give the room a bit more of an autumnal glow. And Halloween decorations don't have to be expensive, and I picked up these paper pumpkins from the pound shop and they've lasted me for 3 years, so very much worth the money. And it was the same with these decorations, this spooky skull in a glass jar and this cat-themed candle holder. This paper pumpkin bunting I actually got from the pound shop this year, and I like all of my decorations to have a bit more of a vintage, more homemade feel. And of course, I turned on the light in my book nook because it gives the room a bit more of a magical energy. Now, book nooks can be a bit expensive, but I got mine at a very reasonable price from Amazon, and I assembled it with the help of my boyfriend and then gifted it to my mum for one of her birthdays. And then Betty had to get into the spirit with us, and so I got her a cute little Halloween-themed bow tie. And no autumnal evening is complete without the help of a roaring fire. And because my mum is an incense fiend, I thought our living room could do with a nice calming fragrance. And on the nursing chair there, you can see my 1940s Raggedy Ann, which is what the Annabelle doll actually was. Don't worry, she is very much not haunted. And then I lay the table with my candy apples and coffee to have a nice, comforting night in on this chilly autumnal day. And how can we have a practical magic themed evening if we don't light an absolute bunch of candles? For anyone out there like me who suffers from SAD, seasonal affective disorder, setting up your house for a Halloween themed evening might just help you curb those feelings of the blues. And before anybody asks, no, we are very much not witches in this house, but there is something about the witchy aesthetic that kind of speaks to me. I don't know whether it's the femininity about it all, or being surrounded by older things, or perhaps the notion that it gives that magic might actually be real. And finally, in true practical magic style, at the stroke of midnight, you know exactly what it was time for.